people. And so without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into tonight's training. And I'm going to introduce Master Pro 10, Brandon Cunningham. And I met Brandon 4 years ago when I started, and I'm very grateful to have met him. He's married to Lynette Cunningham for the past 26 years. They have 2 children, Trey, who's 14, and Braylon, who's 12. His home is in Bradenton, Florida. So it almost sounds like Brandontown, Florida. They've owned several businesses. They bought their first business when they were 21 and 19. So they're definitely entrepreneurs right from the get-go. The majority of their business experience was in the automotive business and real estate. So certainly far from network marketing. But what happened was the financial crisis of 2008, 2009 set them on a course that led them to network marketing. And they joined LifeVantage back in October of 2009, so 10 years ago this month. Their very first company in network marketing. Obviously, it's done well for them. They're still here, and they're influencing so many thousands of lives. They replaced their income in 2 years. They hit the top rank in 4. And some random facts about them is they love the water. Hence living in Florida, I guess. If they're in a boat, they're happy. Life before kids, Brandon raced motorcycles and supercross professionally. Lynette was a lifestyle model. And if any of you have met and seen Lynette, she definitely is still model material. In music, they're kind of all over the place, he says. Their favorite food, Mexican, is their cheat day. They went Pro 7 in 17 months, Pro 8 in 23 months, Pro 9 in 29 months, and Pro 10 in 49 months. So they definitely know how to help other people to achieve their goals. And it's my huge, huge pleasure, Brandon, to welcome you to our Team Heart Training Zoom tonight. So take it away.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I remember meeting you, and I remember coming up to Canada. I don't know what month or year that was, but your story impacted me as well. And this company needs more people like you guys for sure. And I'm actually so excited to be on here with you guys tonight. Genuinely excited. I know a lot of times when people get on calls, they'll say, "Oh, I'm so excited to be on the call," but this is special. I have tons of respect for RJ, and she's taught me a lot actually in the last few years, just watching from afar. And so I've been a student. I've tried to observe, and just glad to be here with you guys tonight. So, I could share a bunch of different things with you guys, but I'm going to share a little bit with y'all tonight. Y'all, you heard that's that Florida talk, y'all, coming out in me right now. I'm going to share with you guys a little bit of what I've been sharing with some of my team lately, and what I've shared when I speak maybe at generic events as well, because as far as how to build this business and how to do this business, that all comes down to different strategies and techniques within organizations. But I firmly believe that our profession is built on 4 pillars of belief. And I'm not going to talk on those 4 pillars. I talked to RJ about it, and she said that you guys have maybe had some training recently on the 4 pillars of belief. And simply those 4 pillars are product, company, network marketing, and you. And when your belief is high or higher than the person you're talking to in those 4 areas, you win the conversation. Whether they enroll or not at that moment, I don't know, that's up to them, but you've won the conversation. They've left the conversation feeling better about what you're doing. And so what I hope to do tonight is I hope to raise your belief tonight in a couple of those categories, specifically the company, and more importantly, network marketing. That's the one I'm going to key in on tonight, is why network marketing is something that I feel like everyone should be a part of, unless they've already got all the time and all the money that they need. I tell people all the time, I've said this from stage, let's just get real. Let's have some real talk right here on the Get Up. If you had all the freedom in life and all the money you possibly needed, you contributed to all the lives you could possibly contribute to, you wouldn't have signed up as a distributor. You'd have just signed up as a customer to use the products. distributors, I mean, people become distributors in this business, whether they want to admit it or not, for one of those reasons. They need more time, they need more money, they want to help more lives. And what they're currently doing is not allowing them to do that. And that's what I am so still, after 10 years, Tanis nailed it. She did the math. It's been 10 years just a few weeks ago that we enrolled with this company. And it's everything, network marketing is everything we tried to accomplish in traditional business, and we're never really able to accomplish it. And that is leverage. Leverage meaning at some point in your life, at some point in everybody's future, my future, your future, you're going to reach a point where you're incapable physically or mentally to work anymore. And it may not just be mentally like you're old and you can't, mentally like you're just checked out, and you're so checked out you're not productive at work. And so that's coming for everyone at some point. And my thought is, what are you going to do when you get to that point? Will you be set? And that's going to be kind of what we're going to talk about tonight, is some aha moments for me that maybe you can share with your teams or when you're in conversation with people. Because the light went on for me, not 10 years ago when I signed up, but maybe 9.5 years ago, maybe even a little later than that. I'll just say this, I was a solid Pro 6 before I even really knew kind of what I had got myself into, like in a good way. And I'll tell you this, at Pro 5, my wife and I wanted to quit. Let me just, so all my Pro 4s out there and Pro 5s out there, just know that a Pro 10 almost quit because we were doing like all the work and getting not much money compared to traditional business. And that's going to kind of play into my message tonight, is there had to be a shift about how this business works versus how traditional business works. All I knew my entire life was traditional business, whether I was working for someone or had people working for me. A book that really opened my eyes. It was the first book I read since I left high school, guys. I didn't go to college. I couldn't wait to get out of school. So I certainly wasn't going to sign up to go to more school. Like everybody in high school would ask me what I was going to do. And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm not going to college. And they were like, oh, you poor boy, like your life, welcome to McDonald's for the rest of your life, I guess. I don't know. But I just wasn't going to do school anymore. And just started working. And I read a book, I don't know how many years later, probably when I got into real estate investing around 97. So I'm 47. I graduated high school in 89. So somewhere around 96, I probably read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it intrigued me. It intrigued me on a couple fronts when it basically was talking about what's an asset and what's a liability and how money really works. It intrigued me so much that I said, you know what, I'm going to read this guy's next book. So I did. And one of those books was The Cash Flow Quadrant. And here's where this thing starts tonight, guys. There's only 4 ways to make money: as an employee, as a business owner, as someone that owns a system, or someone that invests. Now, the first question I have for you is, how is it, how is it that 1% of the world's population controls 99% of the money? How is that? It's not even really like, if you think about it, like it's not fair, right? Like that should not be fair unless you're the 1%. You're like, oh yeah, it's fair, right? It just depends on what side of the coin you are on. And what it boils down to is understanding the first thing I talked about, how money works. Once you understand how money works, it's really just simple decisions that can change your financial future. So most people are either employees or business owners. I was both. Almost everybody I know starts out as an employee. There's nothing wrong with that. You learn a ton as an employee, and some people make a career out of it. That just wasn't my style. I'm not judging anyone. I just knew I needed to make more decisions. So I opened some businesses, Tanis told you, at a young age. We bought our first business at 21. But even then I was stuck Because when I was introduced to LifeVantage and network marketing in 2009, even though I was successful from the outside looking in, guys, I was the guy that if I'm on your database, you probably wouldn't call because you would say, they don't need this. So just little lesson on the side note, don't ever, ever exclude someone from your database because you think they don't need this. Because we had the house, we had the cars, we did the multiple vacations. We wanted for nothing other than I hated what I was doing and I wanted more time with my new family, my kids. I had some new kids that were, you know, like babies, like diapers for sure. And I hated what I had to do. I hated leaving the house and being gone so much. And so I knew that what I was doing wasn't working. And what that simply, the problem was, is I was trading time for money. That simply was the issue. Even though I had read these books, I knew the difference between an asset and a liability. And guys, in 2009, my wife and I owned 13 investment homes. We had nearly $2 million in equity, not in properties. Okay, 2 million in properties is easy. We had 2 million in equity and we watched it all disappear in about 6 months. So that made me angry, really angry, because I thought I had life kind of figured out financially, and I realized I didn't. And the piece that I was missing was the what if piece. What if you can't work? What if the market drastically changes? What if? And I didn't have enough insulation financially, residually. I didn't have money coming in unless I was working. And so you guys know the other side of the equation. Systems are investments. So that you understand, network marketing is part of a system. And you hear it all the time. Every team has systems. And when you work the system works. And if you work the system effectively, it'll produce money, and it'll produce enough money that you have more money than you need to live on. And then you get to invest. And that's where you play with the big boys, right? But we got to take baby steps. We start as employees, then maybe we become business owners, get a little bit more freedom, get a little more money, and then we can maybe buy into a system. And in my opinion, there's no better system in the world than network marketing. That's the next thing I'm going to talk about, because systems in traditional business are expensive, guys, expensive. If you go strike out in business on your own without a system, it's highly risky. You're probably going to fail. Okay. That's the majority fail. So you buy a system, they rarely fail. They're just $500,000 or $100,000 or more. So here was my aha moment, guys. My aha moment was when I was having a conversation one day with my financial investor who I had told about LifeVantage. And he calls me one day and says, "How's that thing going?" You know that conversation. And I go, "That thing, what are you, oh, LifeVantage. Oh, that thing, the thing that I told you about that you haven't done." And I'm like, "Oh, it's going pretty good. I'm making about $2,000 a month." And he said, "Oh, you must have signed a lot of people up last month." And I said, "Actually, I was slacking. I didn't sign anybody up last month." And the phone kind of went silent. And he goes, "Wait, you earned $2,000 and you didn't sign anybody up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I earned $2,000 a month before and $2,000 a month, or $1,800 the month before." And he goes, "Do you realize that you're already earning with LifeVantage what it would have taken us about 7 years to do in the current plan that we're working?" I was working a traditional investment plan with them. You guys, you know, the 20-year deal. I was going to give them 12 grand a year for 20 years and have about $1 million. Okay. Think about that. I was going to give them $1,000 a month for 20 years in order for me to have about $1 million to live on. Okay. And that really now I know is not enough. And so I'm like, "Explain that to me." So he explained what he calls the retirement formula. And he said, "What's your number?" And I said, "You know my number." Back then it was 10 grand. I'm like, if I got 10 grand a month coming in, that's in my pocket after taxes, after employees, you know, after everybody steals from me and lies to me as employees, I need 10 grand in my pocket. And he said, "That's going to take $2 million. And I'm like, $2 million? He's like, yeah, you need $2 million. And I'm like, Jason, I've been working for 17 years in real estate and we've done well, but all I've got is $250,000 in cash. And I'm like, I don't have enough time left in my life to get to $2 million. So when he explained to me the retirement formula, all I did, guys, was look at what we didn't even have, but what you can see now is our income earning statement. Guys, here's the deal. $1 million at 6% return, okay? And hardly anybody gets 6%, but I'm just using 6 because it's even numbers. $1 million at a 6% return will yield you $60,000 a year divided by 12. That's $5,000 a month. You can probably survive on $5,000 a month. I'm not saying you're living, but you can survive. Maybe not in California, San Francisco, Manhattan, Boca Raton, Florida. But I wanted more. I needed 10,000, right? He says, well, you need $2 million. Guys, our compensation plan at Pro 6, look at the average income of a Pro 6. I was never going to get to that number. I was never going to get to $5,000 a month residual income, not in the time frame that I wanted to. But my wife and I were able to do that in less than a year. What would have taken me years or potentially never with traditional business, my wife and I were able to do in less than 12 months with this company. Because here's the deal. At the end of the day, they don't care at the grocery store where your money's coming from. Whether your residual money that you're living on is coming from stocks, it's coming from gold, rice. It doesn't matter. Our network marketing, it does not matter, right? Where this money's coming from. And so the aha moment for me was clear financial numbers, that I had never been introduced to anything in my lifetime that produced as quickly a residual income as network marketing did. And this is coming from someone that we had 6 corporations, guys. We had multiple employees in different corporations. We were working hard so that we could get more freedom, to get out of the rat race. And it just wasn't working. And so the retirement formula for me is one that I use all the time in my business. When people push away from me and they're like, you get that feeling like they're just not feeling it, it's not happening, I just take it off the table, guys. I just say, listen, you're giving me some body language. This maybe not for you. Is that true? Is this kind of not your deal? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, hey, that's cool. That's fine. But let's just talk about life. If this isn't for you, and it may not be for you, what are you working on better than this? Tell me you have a plan other than just working hours, because you've been working hours for the 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and you know where you are. Do you have something better? Because if you do, I might want to hear it. Do you have something better than this? And then I zip it. And they never have anything better. They just don't. They'll tell you, oh, they're working on these deals. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. You're working on the deals, but how much money how long have you been in it, and how much money is it producing? Right? So I'll also share with you this, that I'm kind of working with my teams a little bit. And Tanis, I don't know if you guys, if there's any Q&A, I don't want to change anything you guys do. I'm just saying I'll wrap with this and let you guys maybe ask some questions if you like. But what I've been asking people lately, because I just try to have heart-to-heart conversations with people, is 1 or 2 questions. One question is this. If I was talking to Tanis, you know what you've done the last 5 years of your life. Now, let's just say Tanis is not in network marketing. She's not in LifeVantage. She's working traditional business. You know what you've done the last 5 years, and you know what the last 5 years financially has looked for you. If you repeat the next 5, doing what you did the last 5, will you be happy? And the answer is always no. Okay? So then that's easy. Then that means you got to change something, and change is difficult, but we can make it easy for you here, right? This is a simple way to start making some changes in your life. Is to get around people that have already done it and learn from them. That's one way. And here's the one that I've been using lately in presentations that just gets like their jaws drop. Okay. I just say, guys, imagine if today is the last day you ever get to work trading time for money. In other words, if you have a job right now that pays you based on going to work, you can't do that anymore. The only thing you get to live on from today forward is what your money is making for you. Are you okay with that? Are you good? And the look in their face is stunning, because it's a very sobering conversation. And it works, guys. That conversation works for people of all ages, And it starts to get the wheels turning, because we never know what if, right? People think they'll get to work forever and they got time, but that's what many people have thought for decades. And that's why you see people that are far older than they thought they would be working. That's when you see people greeting you at the door, they don't want to do that. They want to be with their grandkids. They thought it was going to be okay. They thought things were going to change. That wasn't going to be me. And so I hope some of that information, guys, is good for you. You know, my real estate background and my numbers background just drove home to me why network marketing is the spot. We used to buy investment homes, hundreds of thousands of dollars we would invest so that it would cash flow $200, $400 a month with rentals after evictions and absentee renters. And all that risk, fixing toilets, fixing lights for the next 15 to 20 years with a $200,000 investment to only make $300, $400, $500 cash flow, to eventually 15 to 20 years from now, be able to have a house where there's no mortgage and you can live off the cash flow. Guys, if you get serious about network marketing, it's not going to take you 15 years. And if it did, it won't cost you $200,000 of risk, period. This is by far the best business model on earth. And you guys are fortunate enough, in my opinion, to have found the best company on earth.